Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Noobs in Disguise. Episode number 4, I'm joined as always here by Lambo. Hello Lambo.
Hello, what's up?
Not much. Today we have a Protoss versus Zerg, our actual expertise. We're gonna be so good at judging this, and I already see a major clue here in the main base. Do you see the same thing?
It's a 13 pool.
Oh, no, I was looking at the Protoss main base, and I zoomed in on Rainer's face on the decal spinning around the Nexus. He's such a nerd looking at pool timings. This looks very standard to me. We're also looking at the Protoss today, a blue Protoss player on the North American server. So, yeah, we've got a lot to work with there. A lot of info. Oh, this is a high tier move, that pylon block. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Everything looking pretty standard so far. Yeah, 13 pool I'm not sure about, but to each their own. He's making 3 drones. It's a fake 13 pool.
This is high level. Okay, but this honestly is high level, but not insanely high level. You know what I mean? Like, this is high level enough where the Zerg player knows that the Protoss is going to respond to the 13 pool. So they know that something is off here, but not high level enough that the Protoss keeps the probe in the main base to check if the links actually pop. Because that's obviously kind of what you're supposed to do. You know, you got to get that confirmation to see if the links actually move across the map. Then you can perhaps change your plan. You also want to see how many links end up popping out. Is it just 6? Is it 8? Or is it 10? Do the drones get pulled? Like, these are things that you can all figure out with your scouting probe without any real cost. So the fact that the TOS doesn't do that is a pretty big tell. But the fact that the Zerg believed that there would be an overreaction here, that is pretty big. It's not much of an overreaction though out of TOS. Single Zealot? Did he chrono it? I didn't even see that.
He chronoed it, but only a single Zealot. I mean, this is a bad map to do it on as well, because you're never going to force a second gateway since 2 buildings is enough to wall. He lost the probe, he checked for both gold bases, so he just thought there was a gold base. I'm not sure if he could have had the 12 pool with just 1 Zealot, but to be honest, I think this is good for Protoss.
It's optimistic to think that all Protoss players are capable of putting the wall in such a way that they only need 2 buildings, though. I've seen players from all levels mess that one up. Actually, today I had a game where I needed not even 2, not 3, but I needed 4 buildings to properly finish this wall, as I had messed it up in such a peculiar way that I needed to add my 3rd pylon in there as well to make sure that no one could come by. I don't really like this battery, and I hate the fact that we're seeing a 3rd pylon and a pretty major probe cut happen there as well. All of these things, given the early game build order, don't make that much sense to me. It wasn't a gas rush, it was a quick pull, but the gas timing is what decides how quick the follow-up tech can be, right? The Roach Warren or the Baneling Nest. So this battery feels like overkill to me, and the backup pylon definitely is overkill.
Yeah, to be fair, I think he's just confused because he never saw a hatch. Like, he blocked his opponent's natural, then went back there, and there was no hatchery. Then he checked the gold base, there was no hatchery. So in his mind, the Zerg maybe could have taken double gas and then a Roach Warren and go 1 base Roach or something. Which is obviously not the case as we know, but in this case, this means that the Zerg is now actually ahead, after nothing really happened besides the Protoss overreacting.
And does the build work? The Zerg will look at the replay and say, yep, I was ahead again after my 13 pool. This is how you get these 13 pool absolute gangsters on the ladder. All they do is 13 pool. Every game they watch are just ahead at the end. It makes no sense. Like, yep, another battery forced here by my 2 links that I built.
He must think he's so smart as well, because he's putting that extra drone to make a 13 pool, and he's like, those Protosses will never know, they think it's a 12 pool. Yeah. And then he doesn't make any Zerglings anyways. It's a very optimized fake 12 pool.
Yeah. This is not the most optimized Oracle defense here, as 7 workers have gone down already. Make that 8, and the Oracle escapes as well. I'm afraid this is going to be a showcase of high-level play from the replay submittee as well. As so far, he's playing absolutely perfect.
Right. Yeah, we gotta think about what the guy does that submitted the replay. I saw someone in the comments say that we should just lowball them always, because they will send in the replays where they think they played fantastic, which I thought was quite a good idea. Yeah. I'm just gonna go minus 200 MMR from now on with my guesses.
Actually, a very good suggestion. I also saw some people suggest that people have to submit 2 replays every single time, 1 winning and 1 losing. But I'm not quite sure if we'd get a lot of replays still then. Because most people don't actually lose on the ladder. Only wins, baby. Everyone always wins if they submit. The follow-up here for the Protoss is quite interesting as well. We have a 6-gate charge lot Archon attack, or at least a charge lot Archon setup, without a robo, so no reinforcement possibility, and a fairly late 3rd base. This all was off of just a single Stargate unit, which now died, and that means that all aggression that was previously on the map is now gone.
Yep. Oh, he's going Storm. He's not actually going for Archons. There's also no robo, so he doesn't want to attack. There's a Forge instead. So a very cool playstyle. His supply right now looks terrible, but he has a lot of open supply, so he can start warping in now. If he wants to.
Very cool indeed. No aggression till 9 minutes while he's down 20 workers already. And a cool and interesting thought he has. He's like, no. He doesn't know what you want to do, mate. We need a little bit of pressure at some point. This Zerg player still thinks this is the aftermath of the 30. Oh man, he's so scared. to be honest, he might be right. This Protoss is probably thinking to himself, my opponent is capable of anything. A true madman. He's just sitting at home getting his Storm. There's a lot of things at this point that the Zerg player could be doing, and I think the Zerg player is kind of thinking the same thing and doing all of them at the same time. Double Evo chambers, melee, range, roach speed, Hydra speed. Do we have a Baneling Nest yet? No, we don't, but surely it is going to show up at some point. I mean, if you're getting melee upgrades, it's rare to see melee upgrades just for the links in this matchup.
It is. Maybe he's preparing for the late game. Either way, we all know how useless Carapace upgrades are, so I like that he's not getting that one at least. And yeah, the Scouting Stalker now scouting a couple of roaches at an attempt to take the Zerg's 5th base. And the Protoss is just turtling up at home. Honestly, this looks really good for the Zerg, the entire early game, but this is one of those cases where I don't know how he's gonna ever attack with the army that he has, and I'm not sure he knows how to transition. Oh, and the Protoss is going straight into Fleet Beacon and Robo.
Classic. Single Stargate carrier with Immortal support after getting the Templar for Storm, which you then morph into Archons. This is the type of thing that I haven't thought of in a long time. As this Ling Run-by does hit the main base. Cheeky little Zealot Warpin will take care of it. At the same time, though, a Roach Hydra Run-by over at the 3rd, which is pretty much exposed, is going to get this cannon taken down. As Raynor spinning across the Nexus watches all of this happen. He's like, wait, Hydras can move across the map against Protoss? Actually deal damage? That's ridiculous. Was that did he recall out probes to the main base?
He recalled probes to the main, yeah. I don't know why, because he could have just ran away. It's not like Roaches and Hydras are that fast. But he cleans up the army eventually, and the Zerg was floating a lot during it. He thought about which units to make, and he decided to go for Roaches, which I guess isn't the worst call, because there are 0 Immortals here. And he also scouted the fact that there was a fleet peak. I'm not sure if he actually looked at it, but one thing that was quite impressive there is that the Zerg actually used 2 control groups. Or one for the run-by and one for the actual army, whereas the Protoss just went for F2.
Hey, Lambo,
which is a little less effective.
Look at the Roach. What do you see?
It has burrow movement.
Yeah, fluorescent spikes. Look how sick they are. You think he's gonna burrow micro here?
Absolutely not. Doesn't even have burrow.
Oh,
he doesn't.
He wanted to though. He wanted to. He realized as well. He's like, oh, time to burrow. Yeah. Despite getting the tunnel claws, you still need burrow. He's gonna lose a lot of the roaches though before that upgrade does end up finishing up. There's a lot of cash in the bank. This game is surprisingly close in supply and also getting closer and closer in workers. Another attempted Ling Run-by in the natural gets stopped by a Zealot Adept Warp in there. And these Lings will end up falling. I think this 5th base is toast, as the first carrier is now coming out as well. And the only anti-air is, well, the Hydras that are on the way. I guess 11 Hydras versus 1 carrier is still a winnable fight for the Zerg.
A winnable fight for sure. I don't think the 1 Stargate carrier production is that scary, to be honest. Even for Hydras.
You don't know, maybe 7 minutes from now there might be 3 or 4 carriers already. He's gotta start making moves sooner. The Zerg is gonna be in major trouble.
It is true. I mean, there is a timer. It's a long one, but there is a timer right now.
Huge timer here. Still no 4th base though for the TOS, and his main base is running out. He's actually on a bit of a timer himself as well when it comes to the income. Won't be capable of affording the interceptors for the 6th carrier if it goes on like this. So he really needs to start thinking about that. The Zerg player continuously expands, has gone up to 81 workers, is still stuck on a rather primitive unit composition though. Like, is there a hive yet? There's no hive yet either.
There's no hive. There is an infestation pit, so he's starting it up now. I love that this probe that was attacked by a Zergling tried to save itself with making an assimilator. I guess the probe can't be targeted then for a second. Ooh. I've never seen that one before. This is actually a pro gamer move that pro gamers don't even use yet, so this guy is ahead of the curve.
Did it succeed? I missed it.
No. I mean, it died because there were no units close by, but it survived a little longer.
That's nice for the probe, at least. Had more scary last moments against the Zergling. Ooh, carapace upgrade starting now as well. Probably because his hive isn't done yet, otherwise he never would have started. The Zerg is pretty brilliant. +1 air weapons is, well, about 25% done. Is the 3rd carrier, about 5 minutes after the fleet beacon finishing, is about to pop as well here. So really hitting those potentially scary numbers now.
The Zerg actually had his army pre-split, but now he's just... He realized his left side army was way too small, so now he's trying to bunch up everything, which should be big enough to fight the Protoss army if half of his army wouldn't be move commanding, completely bypassing the Protoss army, and it looks like a relatively even fight, but in the end it should be a cleanup for the Zerg. I don't know why half of his army just is not fighting properly. I really don't know what the idea is here, but I guess he wants to counterattack.
I think he was done with that fight. He was like, that's nice that you're still a fighter, I'm running away. He wasn't having any of it. Oh, goes for the snipe on the cyber core. It's going to be a big blow to the carrier's self-confidence without the +1. A couple of zealots are being sent in. Tunneling claws being used now that Burrow has been researched. Pretty quick movement. The macro hasn't been tight for either player in a while now. Both of them have been floating significant amounts of money. What are we thinking of the speed so far of this game?
I think this is the most action-packed first 10 to 12 minutes we've had so far. Still not exactly what I was hoping for, but I think I'm kind of spoiled from the rank roulette where you guys literally just show the action. So I'm not sure if maybe my hopes are a little bit too high. But yeah, I think the Zerg is playing quite fast. Honestly, I'm just mostly impressed that he can use 2 hotkeys, because I'm not sure if everybody in Diamond can do that properly.
That's true. That's true. And he also has something resembling creep spread here. A couple of tumors out on the map. Carriers are still move commanding around. Single Stargate, continuously producing. I don't think I've seen a single chrono boost on it either. He really is going for the slowest transition possible. It's impressive. Zealots will catch up with these roaches, and as the carriers take out the links. This is looking pretty dicey at this point for our Zerg player. Still has a lot of cash and might get a snipe here on the 3rd base. No, runs away with the roaches. Funnily enough, these roaches are the only thing really keeping him alive, because otherwise, couldn't the Toss just move across the map and win the game?
He definitely could, because there's no anti-air. The anti-air the Zerg has are 6 queens and now 16 no hydras that are on the way. To be honest, I was wondering if the patch would really help players at this level against carriers, because they could just make corruptors and A-move them, but I also know that players at this level don't make corruptors against BCs, they still make hydras, which also is terrible, so they just really seem to like the hydras, and they're not good against these units, sadly for them. So I feel like once the Protoss ever maxes out on, let's say, 8 carriers, I don't know what the Zerg does, to be honest. He's getting double ultra cover now and the Infestor upgrade, so if he can actually play with the Microbial Shroud, maybe there's a way.
Double ultra cover to get both the upgrades very quick. I mean, he has plenty of cash in the bank. The Protoss, by the way, for the past 45 seconds, I've just been looking at the Nexi of the Protoss to figure out what he just recalled, because I heard the recall sound, and all I found is this one Zealot just standing here. So I have a feeling that he recalled one Zealot to his natural, but I'm not entirely sure why. I'm pretty sure he forgot about it as well, because that Zealot has been standing there for quite a while. He does have 5 kills, so maybe he's retired now. He's like, you've done well for the army, my friend. Go back home, but I see another Zealot here that also has 5 kills, 6 kills now even, and he's still fighting, so that can be it.
That can't be it. I love the run by on the right. It's 6 High Templars and 2 Zealots. This is a run by force right here. That also dies to 10 Zerglings, but it can also kill 50 Zerglings.
Depends who responds first. I have a feeling the Zerg would respond first, especially given the fact that these Templar are now moving on creep. It's a risky move. Protoss does realize as he tries morphing an Archon, but takes out a lot of the bases here on the left side. Loses all of his Templar. 24 Hydras. Don't think that's quite enough though, is it? If a couple of storms do end up hitting.
Yeah, I mean, he does have Banelings now, which is really good against the army that the Protoss has. It's not very Icon heavy, it's very Zealot heavy, and also has high Templars, so... If he wipes those out and then uses Microbial Shroud, I think there is a way that there is an option here for Zerg. I'm not sure if I'm seeing it in this game, but we'll see.
There is a universe, is what you're saying. Oh, Banelings! Can they get the connections?
Okay, well, we're about to see if the Hydras are enough, because there's nothing else besides the carriers now.
He lost everything. That was 27 Banelings that got the ultimate connections. And now the Hydras are taking care of the carriers. And all of a sudden, I guess it's kind of a game again. We get a recall on the 5 carriers, despite them already being in safety. But it's 3 base versus 4 base. And for once, it is the Protoss that is up a base. Zerg is completely broke, does still have Neural Parasite on the way, and has a single Infestor. So maybe that can help out later on, maybe take over an Archon or even a carrier. The Hydra count is very high as well, and don't forget they have 3-1 upgrades. Banelings are still around too, so it's going to be 3 base versus 3 base. And the exact same worker count, 16 minutes and 59 seconds into the game. It is still pretty close. I actually have no clue who is winning this.
I mean, it is actually super close. If the Zerg actually finds the Infestor key, I think he's in a good spot. But even with his current bank, he made like 30 Zerglings. That was his last investment, and now he's making extra hatchery. Not sure he realizes that with this gas bank, he can just mass Infestors, and that would really help his army here. I feel like if the Protoss ever maxes out again, he should be in a good spot, but he has a tough time maxing out on units that are good. Because, well, he only has 1 Stargate. And other than that, he's just warping in Zealots, which are not that great.
Yeah, but I really like the massive money bank right now, because technically he could double or triple expand. I don't think he's gonna do it, because so far he's even been pretty hesitant at single expanding for the past 9 minutes. But like a bunch of cannons, I think would really help him out. He starts +1 again, by the way, for the air weapons. So he's going back into the upgrading game as well. You know, retired for a bit from that, but he's completely back and alive and kicking. 7 carriers with the +1 will be a lot better than without the +1. Even then, they'll still be fighting with an upgrade deficit. I think the majority of the damage output on the Hydras will have to come from the Templar here, which is going to be the case most of the time, but it's definitely the case in this game.
This army movement, by the way, is so wild from the Protoss. He defends none of his bases, and also the bases don't have cannons. Yeah, and threatens nothing. It's fantastic.
Optimal risk for minimum reward.
Exactly.
Some good plays. Oh, walks into a couple of Banelings head first as well. Rather than recharging the shields, goes straight into another fight. Banelings do need to get the connections here with the high Templars. They don't quite yet. What's the interceptor count at right now? We're at 41 against 16 Hydras. I actually think that the Zerg has survived and maybe even won a fight. Is this a win?
Yeah, that was a win, considering the armies. The Zerg actually kited back there, which is something you have to do right now if you want to kill the interceptors. Otherwise, they start shooting random carriers, which really hurts your fight. So there's an added micro that you have to do now. Oh, and here comes the Microbial Shroud. And I mean, there's no damage other than the couple of Zealots here now. Against the Hydras, obviously the carriers can just focus fire down units that are outside of the Microbial Shroud, but I think that is a level of micro that most programmers don't possess, so I doubt this Protoss player has it.
Yeah, I don't think Function is quite aware of that yet either, as he runs away from the Microbial Shroud. The fact that our Zerg player has a hotkey for Microbial and is aware of how to use it, that does impress me. It shows that he's known with the late game. He's been here before. Doesn't have the entire unit composition down yet, but even starting to respread creep at this point. He's going ham. I wouldn't mind seeing a 5th though.
Yeah, he has a fresh base, and he's mining with 13 out of 16 workers, while there's 20 other drones that are long distance mining from a base that he hasn't taken yet. Like, you can put over 20 drones there, and they can mine just fine. But yeah, I'm a little bit afraid that he's not gonna have anti-ground forces. I think he needs to start a couple of ultras would be sick here, because the carriers don't have the best upgrades, and they would just wipe the floor with the ground army, and they're A-movable as well, which is important for this level.
Yeah. Yeah, and getting one microbial on a freaking ultra at this point, if they have the super armor, do you already have the upgrades for it? Yes, anabolic synthese and chitin as well. Yeah, so there's no ground units left after that happens, right? You build one ultra, the ground is gone. It's not like there's 5 immortals and 3 archons. This is 2.5 zealots and 4 templars that are supporting this carrier army. So it actually is very important that you have something anti-ground that can clear these templars at a high pace without exposing your own Hydra infestor army. And I don't think banelings are quite going to cut it here.
Yeah, he also doesn't have the baning numbers anymore. The Protoss takes off an extra base. I mean, the Protoss is just mining from 2 bases himself, or 1.5 honestly at this point. But the Zerg's not doing much better either. And is really struggling for the minerals especially. Oh, he can snipe the High Templars. Oh! Nice move from the Zerg.
Only made possible though by the less nice move of the Protoss, whose Templars seem to really enjoy walking exposed on creep. A little bit of an odd move. Would not necessarily recommend that for our viewers here. The dog customer.
What a game!
This is also Function was playing this game. Oh man, this game is crazy. He's like built like 17 carriers from the single Stargate. He's taking a 5th base. He hasn't done that in any game before. The pace that he's been taking bases so far, usually he doesn't go further than 2 or 3. This has been crazy. You see parts of the map he's never seen before. Like, there's a gold here? What? It's bottom side bases? This is insane.
I wonder if I mean, he has built 12 carriers from this one Stargate. I'm not sure if he realizes an extra Stargate is cheaper than an extra carrier, so he could just have those, but way faster, especially with the bank that he's been banking. But I mean, I guess slow and steady wins the race sometimes.
So I'm saying, it's 150, 150. This guy's, you know, he's saving. He's thinking of the late game in case he really needs it, you know? Lambo wouldn't have that 150 minerals to build, you know, a final Oracle or a final Phoenix. And my man Function here is definitely going to have that. Ooh, Zealots are move commanding forward. But good storms, actually. That was nice control. They managed to get the storms down on the correct units, pulled the units back as well. The carrier army continues moving across the map. Let's see if microbial shrouds are around. Big fungal does hit the clump of zealots. Another fungal on the clump of zealots. Ooh, recalls out.
To the mothership in the top left, kills an extra base from the Zerg. A really good move here from the Protoss, to be honest. I think even you were surprised that there was an extra good move happening. The Zerg is as well.
That's so sick. I thought he just recalled back home. I was like, that's a terrible move. But he recalled to another base and the Zealot run at the same time. His army movement has been absolutely top tier so far this game. And I'm having a difficult time imagining Zerg winning a fight from here. Yes, there are 7 infestors. But there is an observer. So burrowed infestor neural seems unlikely. The 3 ultras though, they have some potential. Zerg, no detection. GG.
That's the only reason here.
Well,
he did lose the lair and all the overs here. Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't know. I think it's also just an excuse. It's not like he's ever gonna win that fight, to be honest.
But no, it's a fake. It's a fake GG. I think.
Oh, it's a fake GG?
Yeah, it's a fake GG. Look,
a huge move.
I think you need Corruptor. Mate, you need to pay attention. Keep playing the game, Function. No, this is not the time for advice. Look, there's spores on the way. This guy's playing. Function hasn't done anything in the past minute ever since the GG came out. I can't believe he's fake GGing this. Plus Vipers. He's backseating. And this circus, yes, good point. Please keep talking. Any more advice? Lair's about to finish up. Oh, fun fact. Overseers don't cost supplies, so you can still build them.
That is a very fun fact. He can also fight the interceptors, to be honest. That will be quite good for him.
Oh.
Exactly.
Little does he know there's still 5k in the bank, though. Oh! Oh!
Microbial used, okay, good fungus, good fungus. I mean, the issue is he has no catch. The High Templars were going on safari again, so they weren't here. But now that they've joined back up with the army, it's looking rough for the Zerg. He's also not really mining anything, or has anything else going for him. But he's fighting till the bitter end.
I think the mining is the least of his troubles right now. Don't think if you gave him 3 bases with 25 drones each, he'd be like, oh, this is a fine position. He's still down 60. So yeah, he's not great. It's not great. I can't believe he just continues to have 4 overseers. This is what he was waiting for. He has 1 more try. So now he gets to test his hypothesis. If the lack of detection is truly what was losing him the game, or perhaps there were more pressing issues here, like the giant army, the 35 High Templar with infinite storms.
Oh my god, they don't even have Overlord speed. You're gonna run in with the Ultras and they can't see anything, is what's gonna happen here. Or he's gonna run in with everything at once and everything gets stormed, even though the Ultras will kill this stuff.
Oh, Observer got sniped though. What if you burrow all infestors, you take over the mothership, and if there's no recall
you can't do that anymore.
your opponent doesn't have vision, no detection, it's game.
Except that get removed from the game, so...
Oh, you can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. I had so many bad games in my life.
Oh, that's why he's staying in. I can respect that. If you're playing for a late game, you lose to a guy just base trading. It's a little sad.
That is a bit sad. Poor guy. All right. Whew. Our Protoss player. Well, Lambo, give us the rundown. What are we thinking?
So I think this Protoss played a decent early game, but as we saw last week, that doesn't really mean much. And then he floated a lot. He didn't want to add extra production. His army movement was terrible. He did not F2 because he sometimes had units in the wall, so that's a plus point. I'm thinking 3,800 here. 3,000. No, that's too high. 3,700. I'm going.
Really?
No, 3,800. No, 3,700. Something in Diamond League, I think. Low Diamond,
No,
maybe.
I think you're completely off. I think this guy is 4-1. He knows how to build carriers. He had an early game that kind of made sense. The pylon block, that's been messing with my head the entire time. I just thought it was like, man, this guy knows what he's doing. He got the Zealot out and everything. He had a perfect wall as well. And his unit movement in the late game, his army movement, was absolutely perfect. It has 4,100. 4,100 MMR is what I'm saying. What did you say again? I already forgot.
I don't know what I said in the end, 3.8 or 3.7.
Okay, well.
Let's go with, I mean, you have to...
I have the, we have the recordings. We'll be fine. Oh, no. So the MMR of the Protoss is 3,300 and 28. But that's not why I said, oh no. Because this guy is in the Loco clan. That's what the oh no was for. There, man, I was far off by 1,000 MMR.
You were super far off.
I thought this was pretty okay. This guy seemed okay.
Your guess was terrible.
But the wall.
Bro, what? It's not that difficult to wall. Come on. The guys that we had last week played an almost perfect early game. Like, this guy had a better early game than your Terran, and he was basically your guess.
Yeah. I forget quickly. I always need to warm up a little bit. So maybe next week I'll check back the VOD from the week before. All right. I think that's bad news for me. Good news for you. Finals or the total score will be on screen right now. I definitely need to put in some work. I already was behind before this episode. After this episode, life's going to suck. Any last words for the viewers, Lambo?
Send in more punishments. So far I've seen a couple of good ones and a couple of really bad ones. So make them as bad as possible, because I have a good feeling about this one, since I'm already way up. I don't really mind. you can make them terrible. I don't care.
Pay the other guy $1,000.
Sounds good to me.
+1 on that, lads. All right, that's going to be it for us today. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit the subscription button. We're very close to hitting 20,000 subscribers. So it would be great if we get it before the end of next month. And don't forget to hit the like button, comment as well, and I'll see all of you next time. Bye-bye.